So we're going to have a look at Unit 4 today, and we've got, oops, come on. It's just looking at wider professional practice in development in education and training, and there are a number of pieces on here. I've put the Unit 4 amplification in now, so I've completed all the Unit 4 is the last of the obligatory units. You know, the rest of them are you know, the choice ones afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll put those two documents as probably the best ones to keep using because they are useful. I'll open them up.
I've been using the amplification.
Yeah. Ooh. I don't know if there's something wrong with the internet tonight. It's working particularly slowly here.
Yeah, mine's jolting as well.
I'm on, but I'm on 5G here. 5G fibre, and the box is outside my house. It's usually instant.
Oh, it should be pretty quick then, yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely instant normally. It's just a bit slow tonight for some reason. So the unit, it's always worth on this bit reading the unit aim, yeah?
Yeah.
To be able to understand and apply the concept of professionalism and dual professionalism in order to promote wider professional practice in educational training. And it's based on the understanding of professional values and the learner will be able to appreciate the influences on their practice in an area of specialism. Now, I'm not going to go into the rest of that because you could read through that yourself.
Yeah, I've read that.
But again, it comes back to this. There are no essential resources for this unit. As with other units, it's recommended practice related to knowledge and understanding of practical experience, yeah?
Yeah.
So the amplification on this one is define the concept of professionalism and dual professionalism. And again, it looks at autonomy, codes of conduct, codes of practice, roles and responsibilities, concept of leadership, national bodies, national professional standards, professional recognition, higher qualifications. Dual professionalism, e.g. specialist area plus specialist teaching, membership of any professional bodies, institute for learning. That has sort of morphed itself into something different than it started out as. Qualified teacher learning skills and status, QTLS, which you can apply for after you've completed this course, by the way, Ben.
Oh, right.
Because I said, if you remember, it's a level 5 bordering on a level 6, this, which is a full bachelor's, really. And if you look at, I think there are a couple of things you've got to do, and I can't remember what they are. I can let you know. I can find out. And in fact, I've got it on a sheet somewhere, what you've got to do to actually apply for QTLS.
Okay.
Because it's worth having that. You get a job anywhere with it, basically. Dual professionalism, I'll come back on that in that if you are working in a particular industry, as you are in music, yeah.
Well, we said that this was like particularly relevant for me because of having that, like, you bring in relevant experience back into what you're teaching.
Well, it's also a professionalism as well.
Yeah.
The professional standards you have in the work that you were doing previously is very little different than the professional standards you've got within the teaching industry.
Yeah,
as you know, I was a mechanical engineer for years, and it was imperative that we work to specific standards, otherwise nothing would have ever got done. So this bit about professionalism is, it's a concept of the way you look and the way you operate within your own integrity, if you like, within the sphere that you're working in, So the next one is explain ways in which your own professional values influence impact of professional values, meeting organisational policies, procedures, audits of competence, promoting quality in teaching and learning, expectation for high standards, sharing best practice, updating specialist knowledge and skills. Even now, I will be going on, we've got a new awarding body. Well, not new. It's an old awarding body, but we've become a centre for Pearson.
Okay.
Recently, and I've just been speaking to the external quality assurer from there to let her know my background and where I'm coming from, and they'll be running a series of workshops this year on the quality assurance process itself. Now, I'm consider myself very conversant with it, but I will probably attend some of those as part of my CPD to make sure that I am not just saying, yeah, I know that, when I actually don't, or something's changed that I'm not aware of and I've completely ignored. So at the end of the day, you never actually get to the stage where you know it all. All of the tutors that we've got now will be doing or engaging in some CPD opportunities for improving their professional qualifications or the standard of the work that they actually produce now. So I've got a number of teachers that teach but don't do the assessment. I'm going to take them through the assessor course so that they can achieve that, and then they can start to do their own assessments. So those two courses now for the assessor and the IQA, I've now condensed into the IQA one's a workbook that you literally just work through, and the assessor one I've got into a series of tasks that you just just write about. And there's plenty of documentation on the VLE for you to have a look at, PowerPoint presentations, that sort of thing, that you can use to actually put your stuff together for it.
Should I just wait until I've done all of this before doing that?
I would certainly wait until you've done a lot of people have started to do, well, somebody even tried to do all three, and then vanished after a fortnight, and I've not seen them since.
All right.
This qualification, as I've said, is a big qualification. It's bigger than level 5 for me. There is an awful lot of work in it. And as if you probably realise by now, the first 4 units are critical. Once you've got those over, it then lessens a little bit, if you like, because you can cross-reference to the other units that follow from the work you've already produced. Yeah. So you're pretty well up to there, are you, on that one?
I've done those 2.
You've done those 2 on there, right? So
and then I've done. I've done this because I was able to write about NEETs and how they used to get the funding in the other place.
Right.
Due to things like the students going to the social element and then the economic and them having to go to CAMS appointments to be then being given what is it now? The option to go to, non-mainstream learning and it to be funded for them. And that was all then obviously dictating how we could work.
Yeah, there were a number of initiatives run by the government, if you could say that actually, that put funding in for specific reasons. And it mentions, we always call it the NEET group actually, not in education or training. So basically they were specifically funded a different way so they could get, that we could draw them in, if you like.
Yeah.
I had some 19 to 24-year-olds with educational needs, special educational needs actually, just for it was not mainstream education because they were coming in as a group, and I was taking them for maths and English basically to get the levels up to probably not level 2 but certainly level 1. Yeah. And they were probably E2 or something like that. So there was a big, quite a big distance they had to travel. But the funding for them was totally separate from the rest of the budget we had coming in. Yeah. Political factors. One of the I think it was Adele that mentioned this, that she goes into schools to deliver music for specific students, some of which are special needs and some of which are mainstream. and the funding for some of those has been cut under the austerity procedure. And she was able to write about one of the political factors that affected her directly is, what's happened. Now, one of the other part about this is the adult education budget was massively underspent last year. And in support of that, central government have now devolved that money into local areas. And persons like Greater Manchester can now access, or they've got the money, they're looking at providers that are going to be able to provide specific learning programs to meet economic factors affecting local employment needs, identifying and addressing local skills gaps, and that's where that money's going to go.
Yeah,
and it's people who can provide that obviously will get the contracts for it. So that's basically a big piece of material in here for you to look at and latch onto. If there's something that directly affects you, if you've got nothing that really reflects on what you do, then do a bit of research on some of these, and you know, you can respond in that way as well.
I think I managed to get a couple for each.
Yeah, that's fine. That's superb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent.
And then obviously, so wrote about them in 2.1, and then how they related, to me in 2.2. So I think I think I've got that as well.
Yeah, it's just fairly straightforward in that you've got. It's just an explanation of looking for here.
Yeah.
But then 2.2 calls for an analysis of some of the stuff you've pulled together. Yeah. So that's it.
So I've not started 3.1.
Right, so look at 3.1. Explain the roles of stakeholders and external bodies in educational training. This is fairly straightforward. Stakeholders you've got in the organisations that you work for, who they are, what they do, what the external people are. For instance, if you've got an external awarding body, how you deal with them, what their roles are and what their requirements are.
Yeah.
Probably you get involved with parents now.
Well, I did in the last place a bit.
Yeah. But I say all those employers, if it depends on what your job is and what you're actually teaching.
Mm-hmm.
See, people in post 16 will probably be involved with employers and further and higher education providers and training providers.
That's what I am in the new job. In the old job, it would be the parents as well.
Yeah. But I
can write about both, kind of.
A lot of the things on post 16 are not involving parents, although under the new apprenticeship rules, parents need to be notified of certain things.
Right.
But once the child, I was going to say, reaches 18, then you can't really do that without their agreement.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the whole thing changes round. Yeah. So it's looking at building expertise, specialist staff. What sort of resources you've got, customer support, IT support, how the organisations that you work for market their wares, what they're actually trying to deliver, and how if people are involved in work experience and progression that way as well. So again, it covers a whole range of things to give you some ideas for your particular situation,
That one sounds quite straightforward.
Yeah. 3.2. Again, the impact of that accountability. It follows on really from the first bit. It goes like a bit of a waterfall. The information you're providing at 3.1, will then be following on from that. What sort of pressures are being accountable to those or external impacts on the way you actually deliver. explain why it's important to work in partnership with employers and other stakeholders in education. This is a specific point, this. Now, you need to be in a situation where you're dealing with that in partnership there. Other than that, you can write it as a generalisation, yeah? Mm-hmm. If you're not strictly involved with those, you can just do a bit of research on there and explain how that works and what it's for. Some stakeholders, partnerships have worked slightly differently. You've heard you've got schools that have gone under special measures, yeah?
Yeah.
They partner up with a school that's got good or excellent, and they work in partnership to actually bring the one that was on special measures up to a good standard. So that's another idea for partnership working and why it operates as well. Oops. This 3.4 is mainly looking at how all that impact has on actual curriculum design and how the delivery and assessment takes place because of that impact.
Yeah, okay.
So Bailey, that's just an extension of what you've written at 3.2, yeah? Where are we? But again, I'll just have a read through. These are good because they're almost like, you know, when you sit in a group and you do a brainstorm, you all start writing stuff down on a board. Yeah. This is like actually done that for you. It's just roll all the stuff down on here. You don't need to cover it all, but it's just giving you some ideas, yeah. To
pick the points out. Yeah, that's what I've done on the previous bit.
Yeah, that's all. It was actually, you know, a very good piece. That's why I put it in.
I found with the other one, when I was doing about like the social and political bits, that I wrote about one social and then wrote about it in the next criteria, so that I spoke about it and then went back and did the next one, so that then I spoke about all the same things. So I'll probably do something similar with that. Yeah.
Well, on Unit 3, it's the same. It's your analysis of all the theorists.
Yeah.
As a separate issue, and then where any of those actually fall into your domain or not, as the case may be.
Yeah.
And if not, why not? 4.2 is analyse the impact of organisational requirements and expectations on curriculum practice in your own area of specialism. I had a very good piece off one of the other students on this, where she's actually left the job now because of a number of instances in this that have caused her, and she's written some quite cutting comment on, you know, the way that organisation worked without actually naming it. And it, like I said, what you write in here is between me and you and the external quality, the internal quality assurer, and that's it really. So you can write what you think. If you've got a situation that you don't like or you think should have been changed or improved, then write that by all means. So it's looking at some of the impacts on those requirements are like I've just made with ours. I'm trying to get the tutors through assessment, so they'll take some of the assessment load on. So it's looking at your own PDP if you've got one, and any training needs analysis you've got. And of course, this is the point where you can actually refer to this course, Why are you doing it? What's going to be your goal? What's your outcome at the end? 5.1. Analyse the quality improvement and quality assurance arrangements. This is actually, where are you working now?
So doing one day with the people with the learning difficulties, and then the rest of the time just supporting learning in the music college. Right.
Well,
go down in Plymouth.
A quality assurance system,
Yes.
And somebody will be responsible for that, like I am with our company, It's my area to cover. If anybody's got an issue with any quality arrangements, then they come to me about that. Yeah. So it's analysis of what that quality assurance system does, to look at it and say whether it's good, whether it could be improved, or, you know, what you think about it, basically.
Yeah.
And then any documentary evidence from the system you can use with your explanation, yeah. So again, it comes back to, if you can provide any documents, like you've got a standardisation meeting document, you've got minutes from a meeting that they've held with regard to the assessors, or something of that nature, then you can use that as the basis for, you know, your take on the quality system that they've got. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, 5.2. Explain the function of self-assessment and self-evaluation in the quality cycle. There's a lump of stuff on that. You can have a look at. There's some, I think there's a couple of PowerPoints on there looking at self-assessment and self-evaluation. The quality cycle itself: respond to student feedback, identify opportunities for change, implement change, evaluate it, and identify modifications of future delivery. Again, so what I was talking about earlier, I've modified it through self-assessment and self-evaluation within a quality cycle. Sometimes, and this is where writing stuff down can be awkward sometimes, because that quality cycle can be sometimes going on in your head. Yeah, it's not something that you've documented. Yeah, so yeah, that's what you can actually do to explain that. Is reflective, individual reflective activity that you've done from previous units. Yeah, you can use that as your reference and then just talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Now this is specific. This 153. You look at one of your learning programs. Yeah. It needn't be a whole program. It could be a section of it or whatever. Looking at the quality maintenance within your own organisation, how you maintain that quality, and then it's evaluate that learning programme through learner surveys, any formal and informal learner feedback, how you actually deal with that, and that evaluation, you can come up with two results. One is that the programme that I'm working on at the moment is working very well. It's achieving its objects, and it's achieving the object because, or that it's achieving most of its objects, but there are a couple of areas that I'm looking at now to actually develop and improve, and these are X, Y, Z. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that basically 5.3 covered. And again, once you've done that, if you've identified any areas for improvement, what are they? Yeah. So that's your individual research, narrative from your research. Some of this may cross-reference from Unit 1, although this evaluation is a bit of a programme rather than the delivery of it. It's looking at the programme on its own, yeah?
Yeah.
What is it trying to achieve, yeah? How does it achieve it? Does it achieve it, yeah? Or is there shortfall, yeah? And if those shortfalls, then identify those areas for improvement, yeah?
Okay.
And that is the end of that. Yeah.
Right.
There's 5 LOs, that's all. Areas for improvement: plan changes in delivery approaches, new delivery techniques, development of resources, new technologies or online resources, more flexible approaches to improve. I was having a discussion on this, and I made a statement that I'm relatively new to online learning, but what I have learned about it up to now is that I can see in the next, I made a statement that I said I don't think there'll be any universities in 20 years' time. I think they've gone. Most of the learning will be done this way, and experiential learning, yeah? Because at the moment we have a shortfall. We have a number of people with degrees who come out after spending many years learning with no or very few of the skills you need in a working situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is becoming very apparent. One of the things I can go back 50 years. And 50 years ago, we had 2 groups of apprenticeships. We had trade apprentices, and we had college apprentices. The college apprentices were ostensibly working towards a degree at college, but they had to do blocks of work in the factory, working in a department. And part of their stuff was to write up what they'd seen and what they'd done and what they'd learned, within that context. And that was part of the degree programme. So
like a proper placement though,
not just a placement. You were actually employed by that company and sent to the university. That's when we had large organisations that could afford to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I tell you that Metrovic, where I served my apprenticeship, there were 4 groups of 25 apprentices taken on every year.
Wow.
Year on year, And out of those 25, there'd probably be 5 college apprentices. The rest would be trade apprentices. They did a full year off-the-job training in our workshop training school, And at the end, you did something of everything, Blacksmithing, welding, mechanical fitting, electrical fitting, all sorts of different trades, turning, milling, all those different engineering skills. At the end of that 12 months, you were then traded into what you wanted to do ostensibly, but obviously that may change. If you wanted to be, say, a fitter, but when you'd done central turning and machining and stuff, you'd enjoyed it and you were actually really very good at it, you may change your mind, and you'll be traded off into there, and only after you'd gone through that first period, you then did a further 2 months intensive training in that particular job.
Right.
After that, you were then released into the main work and put into a department under a foreman and work with the different people in that department to learn the skills you needed for the job. And fortunately, with a big company like that, you were sent to college 1 day a week for your vocational qualification. Sorry, for your academic qualification.
For the core skills, And
it was a fantastic system and setup. I was extremely fortunate that I got into there because I didn't do very well at school. I haven't got very many qualifications from school, but I really had a really interest in what I wanted to do, and I think that's what got me through the process. Coming back to what we've got on here, once you've got, you say you've done on this one,
I've done 1 and 2, and I've done it.
Right, well, if you send 1 and 2 now, leave that with me. I will go through that probably over this weekend, and I'll get that back to you before next week. And
can you send me number 1? No, now, because then I.
What, the one I've got on here?
Just so I can compare that.
All right, okay.
Because if I have already added some more to it, then I can obviously carry on. And if I've not, then that's where I can do that this week.
Well, what we'll do is, I think the easiest way to do this, Ben, is to finish off. You've done Unit 3, that's done. Finish off Unit 4, and then we'll track back onto 1 and 2 to tidy up the end,
Okay.
That's the best way of doing it, really. Then you've got 1, 2, 3 and 4 all done. And we're on to the chosen ones then after that. Okay, Ben, I will send that to you as soon as I've signed off here now, and I'll speak to you next week. Thanks for attending.
Thanks, Phil. Have a good week, mate. Bye.
Bye now.